There are several Georgia Bulldogs that I have a close eye on right now because I think these particular players could make or break Georgia's season in 2024. I've got 3 names on defense, 3 names on offense. I'm going to break it all down in this video, so I really appreciate y'all watching. Now, the first guy I want to talk about who could possibly be an All-American next fall is Mykel Williams, former 5-star, one of the top prospects in the country in that 2022 class. This is year 3 for Mykel Williams. This is a money year. If he wants to be a first-round pick next year, I think he needs a really, really strong 2024 season in year 3, and I think he has the talent and ability to make it happen. As a freshman in 2022, he was impactful, right? Coming in as a 5-star, made 28 tackles, 6.5 tackles for a loss, 4.5 sacks. Thought last year would have been a little more productive. He's still really good, and he's still one of the better players on Georgia's entire defense. But can he take that next step and be a true game changer? One of the best pass rushers in the country. He's already one of the best on the team, probably the best pass rusher on the team right now. He had 4.5 sacks last year again. So 4.5 sacks in year 1, 4.5 sacks in year 2. We'll see if he can get close to that 8 or 10 range this year. Maybe moving him to outside linebacker where I think he'll play a little bit more, standing up, being able to get to the passer that way will help out. But if he can take his game to the next level and be a truly dominant force who makes an impact every single game and can get after the quarterback, get him to the ground a little bit more and flash, big time first round potential, I think that is going to help Georgia's defense in a big, big way. They need someone to step up and be an All-American type of pass rusher, defender in that front seven. Mykel Williams should be that guy. I expect him to have a monster season. And if he does, Georgia's defense is going to be even better than I think people think. So Mykel Williams is number 1. On offense, I think Thomas could end up being a guy that they really rely on. He had a promising career season last year. The transfer from Mississippi State showed big playability. He's got some size. He's got ball skills. He's a vertical threat. He can win those jump balls and dealt with some injuries here and there last year. But when the ball went his way, good things happen. He caught 23 passes, 383 yards, just 1 touchdown. I think if you're Thomas, you were probably expecting a little bit more production. But without Ladd McConkey, without Marcus Rosemary-Jackson, with all, several other wide receivers hitting the portal, I know they brought some in, but Thomas is a guy who I think has an established connection already a little bit with Carson Beck. And I think year 2 in this system, year 2 working with Carson Beck, I think he could be bound for a really big year. And they need him to. I mean, he has game-changing type of potential down the field. You saw his one-handed catch. I think it was one-handed or two-handed, big-time catch against Kentucky and his only touchdown. He showed the ability to go up and make those acrobatic plays. And he can catch and continue after the catch, make big yards down the field. There's a lot to like about his game, and I think he's going to have a better season next year as far as productivity goes. He's very talented. He's a reliable, dependable pass catcher. And I think if he has a better year, that's only going to help Carson Beck in this offense. So if he steps up, right now I think Dom Lovett might be the best receiver on the team, might be the most productive next year. But those transfers are coming into play. And if you're Thomas, you need a big offseason to kind of keep those guys behind you and say, hey, I'm the number 2, possibly the number 1 receiver on this team. If he can play to his best potential, I think Georgia's passing attack for sure should be one of the best in the country. So he's a wide receiver I think Georgia fans are starting to maybe forget about, but could have a really good season next year. Going back to defense, Dalen Everett. A lot of people are not so thrilled with his 2023 season, and I get it. Against guys like Luther Burden and the better receivers that they went up against last year, he would get turned around a little bit. And, when a guy was wide open, sometimes you're looking and it's Dalen Everett trying to catch him. I think he's going to take a big step in year 3, and they need him to. Every year it seems like they've got a big-time first-round potential type of cornerback on the roster, or just a game-changing cornerback, right? Kamari Laster was a game-changer type. He was a big-time hitter. He could tackle in space, deliver a hit on the ball carrier, but he was solid in coverage too. The year before that was Keely Ringo. You've had guys like DeAndre Baker and Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. Darian Kendrick made a lot of plays. Dalen Everett's a returning starter at cornerback. They need him to be the alpha. They need him to step up and be the guy that they think he can be and still has the potential to be. He could still, develop a little bit as far as his footwork goes, his technique, fundamentals, not getting turned around by those quicker, explosive receivers. But they're going to go against some really talented wideouts next year, whether it's, at Ole Miss. They got Juice Wells, from South Carolina, who gave Georgia trouble last year. Texas has Isaiah Bond. Alabama has Ryan Williams, a freshman, coming in, super, super talented. They're going to play against some big-time receivers. And if Dalen Everett's supposed to be your number one cornerback, he's the guy who's going to be kind of following the best receiver on the team, possibly, if that's how Georgia wants to play it. He needs a really big year. If he does, I think Georgia's secondary could be pretty good, but he has got to improve over the next 8 months if he wants to have a big year 3 and possibly be, a high draft pick. He's got a long way to go because there's certainly some improvement that needs to be done, but I think he has the potential to have take a much bigger step in year 3. Going back to offense, Trevor Etienne, the running back coming in from Florida, 753 yards, 8 touchdowns, still around that 200-pound range, but he brings, more speed, more elusiveness, the ability to catch out of the backfield, help in the passing game, just a little bit better than the guys behind him. Branson Robinson, a healthy Branson Robinson coming back, could be a game changer, right? Roderick Robinson showed a lot of potential as a big tackle-breaking bowling ball type of guy. Andrew Paul flashed here and there when he got some opportunities. You all know about the freshman running backs coming in because I've been talking about them. I know you all get your recruiting news from this channel. I appreciate it. I love it. That's why y'all are the best. But Trevor Etienne is a guy who I think should be the number one running back on the roster and be the guy who gets the first touches. But they're going to have to use him in ways they can't really use the other guys. I'm not saying they can't catch passes, but he brings a level of shiftiness and agility and quickness and burst more than the other guys. So if Georgia wants to win a national championship, I think Trevor Etienne needs to have a really big year. He's going to need some help with the guys behind him, but he needs to be RB1. And with his experience, he's a veteran. He's played several years of college football. He's been productive in the past. They need him to be really productive again, I think, if they want to go all the way. Another defender number 3, Jamal Jarrett. We've talked a lot about how Georgia needs a game changer, big guy in the middle of their defensive line who can eat up double teams, clog those running lanes, and occasionally make a big tackle in the backfield, but someone who, can eat space. They need a Jordan Davis type, a Devonta Wyatt. And the guys are there. They've got some big guys, but Jamal Jarrett's the guy they recruited to say, hey, we need you to be our Jordan Davis. We need you to be that mountain in the middle of the defensive line. Made 6 tackles last year as a freshman. I think should play even more as a sophomore because they need him to. They need that type of guy to make a big impact. And I think they're expecting him to, play more of a significant role and be that guy that they recruited him to be, which is, hey, Jordan Davis can't be in college forever, right? He's leaving. We want you to come in and play that role. They're going to need him or Jordan Hall or someone to be, that space eater, that lane clogger in the middle who can occasionally help attack the quarterback. So Jamal Jarrett's a guy that they really need to come on and develop, and if he can, and possibly turn into a guy who has made a Jordan Davis type of impact. I don't think he's going to be as good as Jordan Davis, but he has the potential to do the same type of things and make the same type of impact. But he's got to get there. He's got some ways to go still, but from year 1 to year 2, I expect a big improvement. And if he does turn out to be anything close to Jordan Davis, he's only going to make Georgia's defense that much better, especially that defensive line. We saw Alabama be able to run the ball and, beat Georgia in the trenches. They need a guy like Jamal Jarrett to come in and say, no. This is an elite defensive line again, and you're not running on us, and you're not pushing us backwards. We're going to push you backwards. And Jamal Jarrett's a guy, I think they need to do that. Lastly, on offense, Oscar Delp. Caught 24 passes last year, just under 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He showed the ability to be a weapon in the red zone. He can run after the catch, break tackles, get yards after initial contact. He's a really good tight end who, again, those 2022 guys, right? This is going to be year 3 for them. I expect them all to be, really good players and towards the top of their game. Replacing Brock Bowers is impossible because there's only one Brock Bowers. But Oscar Delp's going to get a lot more opportunities to make some plays, especially in the passing game. He's shown the ability to catch the ball and be a reliable weapon for Carson Beck and the Georgia passing attack. And I think he is only going to get better in year 3 this year as a junior. If he does and becomes an even bigger weapon for that passing attack, I think he could have a game-changing type of impact for Carson Beck and that Georgia offense. If Oscar has a big year, I think Georgia's going to have a big year. I think he has the potential to do that, and I think he will. So those are 6 guys I've got, right? Who do you think could really impact the team in a way where if they have a monster year, it could really take Georgia to maybe a playoff contender to a national championship caliber team, which, they could be. They're one of the favorites to win it all next year, but which players in your mind need to step up to make that happen? Drop a comment in the section below. You can sign up to Dog Post today for free. We sign up to our free newsletter. That link is down below. You can read all the free stories we have on Dog Post. So check us out over on the website. You can sign up again by clicking our free newsletter. That link is down below. Hope to see you over on the website.